This evening, however, is all about youth football, and by attending tonight, you've all made a contribution to Dover Athletics' youth section. Running teams, and certainly youth teams, can be time-consuming. It can be thankless, and it demands a lot from the volunteers that actually run these teams. Often they give lots and lots of time, completely freely, and in many occasions it costs them. So without embarrassing too many people in this room tonight, I do want to make a couple of personal thank yous. In particular to two gentlemen that I know through Rotary very, very well. Our Vice Chairman, Mr. John Hunnisford. Thank you, John, for your work. And our Fixture Secretary, John Richards, who both are doing a fantastic job helping me run this football club. We can't run football clubs without managers, and I'm delighted that we have all our four managers here. That's John Barrett, Lee Randall, Ben Bryant and Ben Andrews. So gentlemen, thank you for all the work you do as well. Just a final couple of things that I'd like to mention. We do, to run a youth section voluntarily, does cost a little bit of cash. And I'm absolutely delighted to say that we've managed to get a few sponsors on board. They're there. That's Arcade Group, Rent for Sure, Jenkins of Pain and Pets Arcadia have all contributed. But there is a gentleman at the back of the room there that's standing behind that camera who is also putting in a massive amount of time, doing a lot of filming. And the films that are running around on the wall there are the product of a lot of work. So James, thanks for your efforts as well.
I've got to say, a big break came when the grace of Bob Robson took over. Yeah, what a football man, do you agree with that? Yeah. Great football man. Bobby was like a manager coach. He wasn't like Sir Alf Ramsey, but he loved to join in training and he had his own way of doing his little bit of man management. He was that sort of fella, but he did have a bit of a weakness, Bobby. You know, when there was a big game coming up, or the pressure was on, he used to say the marbles are not in the right order sometimes, you know. The wheels going round and the hamster's dead. You get the feeling? You know what I'm talking about? Because he called one of our players, Mark Chamberlain, Neville for 3 years.
You talk about your heroes, Yashin, Banksy, people you grew up with. Of the modern era of goalkeepers, who do you really rate?
Who do I really rate?
Yeah.
Oh God, gee, that's a good one. I quite, believe it or not, in the last World Cup, I thought Navas of Costa Rica was incredible. He's at Real Madrid now, and it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't sort of get, you know, in the side, because Casillas, I think, is coming to the end of his career. I think he's a very, very good goalkeeper. He's very quick on his feet. You know, I just so impressed him in the World Cup. I thought he was the goalkeeper of the tournament for every reason, you know, not just the saves he made, but reading his crosses, etc. I think Courtois, is it the Chelsea keeper? I think he's improved a lot. He's a big, strong lad. He's improved a lot. Those are kind of the two young ones. The English keepers, I think Joe Hart's still got quite a bit to learn. I think his positional play at times still needs a bit of fine-tuning. You know, I think he comes a bit too far off his line, starting position for crosses. There was one the other night he let in against Bayern Munich, and the thing was, you don't have to come that far out starting position because that's not your ball on the penalty spot. There's an area where it's between the goal back four and you, that's your area you come for. You don't have to be right back, and of course, when the cross come in, he's gone retreated half a yard and he's still 4 yards off his line when the fella heads it. you know, and you don't have to be that far off your line. You can be a yard off your line, you've got more of a chance to get across the goal. It's little things like that that sometimes define edges, you know. Things sometimes go through him and under him, through his legs. And these are the little bits that I think he's got to fine-tune to get really top class. I think he's great ability, great confidence. He's done really well for England, you know, in the time he has. But he has made quite a few errors for Man City and for England in the last couple of years. So I think he needs to look on that. But then you look at, you know, the two Fosters, and you just wonder if they've kind of quite got that X factor as well. But I think we've got three keepers there are pretty solid at the moment. And I just wish that because of Joe's confidence and agility and everything, he could just tidy up some of his positional play and his body positions at times, because his reactions and, you know, he can pull off some unbelievable saves at times. But, you know, it's those little bits. It's about the mistakes you make more than the saves you make. I'd rather have a consistent goalkeeper that makes one mistake every season than somebody that has one great game and lets two in, you know. And I think that's the sort of keeper I think I would like as a manager, you know. My save, well, I mean, I think the thing is, you'd have to say Banks' save against Pele. You know, people say to me, "What do you think about you and Gordon and all that?" I said, you can't compare goalkeepers. I mean, if you compare a record in terms of the length of the things I achieved, the length of time and everything else, and games played, etc. Gordon made a save in a lifetime, which, to be fair, most goalkeepers are not remembered for. Most goalkeepers, you tell me Pat Jennings or Schmeichel or something that sticks out. It's very rarely people remember goalkeeper saves. I was quite lucky because I got a picture on the front of my autobiography of a save I made for England against Scotland in 1973 when I was trying to establish myself in the England team with about 10 minutes to go and we were winning 1-0. In those days it was a big match because great British players at the clubs, but you didn't want to go back to your clubs and it used to be stick for months and months on end if you got beat. And Bobby Moore was in front of me that day, and I remember 10 minutes to go, Dalglish, ball was clear from a corner, all the defence pushed out, and he hit a shot, and I was going with my left hand, and I wasn't getting it, and suddenly I brought my right over and palmed it away, and the picture was captured, it's on the front of my autobiography, and also the BBC actually show it quite regularly. So you're lucky if it's captured like that. And the other one was when we won the league for Nottingham Forest and we played at Coventry. And on the day we won the championship, we needed a draw. We had 2 games to go, but we wanted to get the draw, or at least the win, to clinch it. And I made a save from a fella called Ferguson when the ball was clipped back and I went across the goal. But it was just captured on TV, and people still remember that. But you're very lucky if, you know, you remember too much for saves. But Gordon was remembered for that, and quite rightly so, because I know Gordon was the first keeper when I was a kid who used to go, because goalkeepers used to train with the rest of the team in the 60s and 70s, used to do all the running, used to play practice matches. They might get a bit of shooting practice once a week, but most of the time they used to have to stay after training to get a few of the players to stay, to hit a few balls at them, and that was the training. Gordon used to come back Tuesday and Thursday afternoons, get a few of the lads and do his own training, shots and crosses. And the one thing I always remembered about him was, even if a ball was going a yard wide, he still dived for it. In other words, he still worked in case the ball turned in, but he was working himself hard, going for every single thing, even if it was a yard wide. He'd be working his socks off. And I think in that one instance, all that hard work paid off because he never gave up on that ball. And in the end, he made probably the most famous save, if not the greatest save. It's difficult because a lot of saves have been made, but you'd have to go a long way to find an instance where you've got the world's greatest player and a save like that. And that was all down to hard work. And so, you know, that's something that I totally admire. So, and also being a World Cup winner is always a help, isn't it, when you've got a World Cup winning medal. I said to Banks, he let 2 goals in the final, but it doesn't matter, does it? We still won. But that's the way it is, and obviously he was my hero, and he was a different hero, but his positional play was superb, and he's one of the greatest keepers of all time, so I would put that with him.